In a high-stakes showdown that would reshape the landscape of progressive politics, Rachel Maddow, a prominent MSNBC host, believed she could outmaneuver Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett on live television, challenging her on progressive policies. What unfolded instead left Maddow stunned and elevated Crockett to national prominence. A 15-second clip from this fiery exchange spread like wildfire, amassing over 10 million views in just 24 hours and igniting a nationwide debate about media accountability. The MSNBC studio buzzed with tension as Maddow, known for her aggressive interview style, leaned forward, her glasses catching the studio lights. Armed with meticulously prepared questions and her reputation as a titan of liberal media, she anticipated another signature takedown. Her show, a staple for millions of Democratic viewers, had built her into a household name, earning her a reported $7 million annually. Producers, sensing a ratings boost, extended the segment, expecting a clash that would dominate headlines. But across from Maddow sat Jasmine Crockett, a 43-year-old Texas congresswoman whose calm demeanor masked a steely resolve. A former civil rights attorney, Crockett exuded the confidence of someone who had faced tougher battles in courtrooms than a TV studio could ever present. Crockett's presence was no accident. With a law degree from the University of Houston, she had earned a reputation for fiery House floor speeches and a viral social media presence, growing her Twitter following from 50,000 to over 800,000 in 2 years. Her legal career was marked by taking on corporate giants, including a landmark case against a major bank for discriminatory lending practices, which she won after 3 years of relentless litigation. Unlike many politicians, Crockett spoke with unfiltered directness, a trait honed in courtrooms defending working families and voting rights. This wasn't a politician molded by media training. This was a trial lawyer ready to dismantle any argument thrown her way. The interview began with Maddow framing the discussion around Democratic Party unity, a topic she had been hammering for weeks. She had repeatedly criticized progressive Democrats for pushing policies like Medicare for All and the Green New Deal, arguing they alienated moderate voters crucial for electoral success. Maddow's show had become a platform for this narrative, featuring polling experts and strategists who echoed her view that progressive overreach was a liability. Tonight, she aimed to corner Crockett into admitting that her bold policies were hurting the party. Congresswoman Crockett, Maddow began, her tone laced with authority, polls suggest that progressive policies like Medicare for All or defunding the police push moderate voters toward Republicans. How do you respond? It was a classic Maddow tactic, a seemingly neutral question loaded with assumptions, but Crockett didn't flinch. With a slight smile, she responded, "Rachel, that's an interesting frame, but shouldn't we talk about results first? The data I see tells a different story." Maddow's eyebrows twitched, an early sign her script was unraveling. Crockett wasn't defending, she was reframing the debate, a move straight out of a trial lawyer's playbook. Maddow pressed harder. In states like Virginia and New Jersey, analysts point to progressive messaging as a reason for Democratic losses. Don't you think there's a responsibility to moderate these positions for the party's sake? Most politicians would hedge, seeking middle ground. Not Crockett. Leaning forward, her eyes sharp, she countered, "Rachel, are we really blaming progressive policies for losses when I won in deep red Texas by campaigning on Medicare for All, affordable housing, and criminal justice reform? Are we ignoring that progressive candidates are winning by energizing voters who'd given up on politics?" The studio's energy shifted. Maddow's polished confidence flickered as Crockett refused to play by her rules. Frustrated, Maddow escalated, shuffling her papers theatrically. A signature move to signal she was about to land a blow. Winning in a gerrymandered Texas district is different from appealing to suburban voters who decide elections, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. Isn't it irresponsible to push policies that polls show are unpopular? The word irresponsible hung heavily, a deliberate jab meant to put Crockett on the defensive, but Crockett's response was electric. "Rachel, I find it fascinating that you're lecturing me about responsibility when your show tells Democrats to abandon policies that help working families. When was the last time you chose between paying for medicine or rent? The question landed like a thunderbolt. Maddow, caught off guard, stammered, "My personal circumstances aren't relevant." But Crockett pressed on, her voice steady but fierce. "Oh, they absolutely are. You're making millions telling families that affordable health care is irresponsible, that a livable planet is too radical." The camera caught Maddow's face paling as the power dynamic flipped. She tried to recover, saying, "I think you're mischaracterizing my position. I'm talking about strategic considerations." Crockett cut in, her passion rising. "Strategic? People are dying because they can't afford insulin. Families are bankrupt from medical bills. Young people are drowning in debt. And you want to water down our message to not scare suburban voters." The studio fell silent, the tension palpable. Maddow's staff exchanged uneasy glances. This was not the friendly liberal exchange they'd expected. Maddow made a final attempt to regain control. "Isn't this rhetoric just about feeling good rather than winning elections?" It was a misstep. Crockett's eyes flashed, and her voice carried the weight of her courtroom experience. "Rhetoric? Is it rhetoric when a mother rations her child's insulin, when families live in cars because rent's too high, when young people give up on college because of debt?" Maddow's face betrayed her realization. She'd walked into a trap. Crockett seized the moment, looking directly into the camera. What's rhetoric is sitting in a studio, making millions from corporate advertisers, and lecturing elected officials about what's politically feasible. The silence was deafening, broken only by the hum of cameras. Then came the line that would echo across the internet. "Rachel, what's irresponsible is a media personality making $7 million a year telling working families that fighting for their survival is too radical." Maddow's jaw dropped, her quick wit gone. Crockett wasn't finished. Pulling out her phone, a bold move on live TV, she said, "You want numbers? In 2022, every Democrat who campaigned on Medicare for all won, every single one, but those who ran from progressive policies lost. So before you call my fight irresponsible, when was the last time you worried about paying bills?" Maddow, struggling, managed, "I think you're being unfair. I've fought for progressive causes my entire career." Crockett's response was devastating. "Have you? It looks like you've built a brand. You're comfortable being the voice of resistance while we do the hard work of governing." Then came the final blow. What's irresponsible is turning politics into entertainment, treating people's lives like a game. "I didn't come to Congress to make you comfortable. I came to make change. If that makes you uneasy, maybe the problem isn't my message. Maybe you've forgotten what this fight is about." Maddow snapped, her composure shattered. "How dare you question my commitment? I've been fighting since before you were in politics." Crockett, calm but unyielding, replied, "You've made millions being the opposition. But when it's time to support those governing, you undermine them." The exchange culminated in Crockett's parting shot. "The disrespect is telling families their struggles don't matter because they're not politically convenient." Standing, she concluded, "I thought we could discuss the Democratic Party's future, but you're more interested in the status quo. When you're ready for a real conversation, you know where to find me." With that, she walked off, leaving Maddow speechless as cameras rolled. The aftermath was seismic. Within minutes, the 15-second clip of Crockett's final line exploded online, hitting 50,000 views in 10 minutes and 2 million by midnight. The hashtag #Crockett destroys Rachel trended nationwide, fueled by TikTok videos and memes capturing Maddow's stunned silence. A screenshot of Crockett walking off with the caption, "When you're done tolerating BS from allies," became a viral symbol of defiance. Progressive leaders like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders praised Crockett, while even conservatives like Tucker Carlson admired her courage. MSNBC's attempt to call it a robust exchange backfired, with social media mocking the euphemism. Maddow's next night response, framing Crockett's takedown as passion, only deepened the hole. Legal experts noted Crockett's courtroom honed precision, likening her performance to a cross-examination. The interview sparked a broader reckoning. Progressive voters, energized by Crockett's refusal to bow to media elites, flooded her campaign with donations. Other progressive candidates followed suit, adopting confrontational media strategies. organizations like Justice Democrats shifted focus to direct voter outreach, bypassing traditional media. The Crockett moment became a cultural and political touchstone, studied in journalism and political science classes. Phrases like pulling a Crockett and getting Maddowed entered the lexicon, symbolizing resistance to media pressure and exposure of media hypocrisy. The interview exposed a rift in progressive politics, revealing how some liberal media figures had become gatekeepers more invested in their status than in systemic change. Crockett emerged as a voice for a new generation, proving that authenticity and courage could outshine media polish. Her parting words, "Maybe you've forgotten what this fight is about," became a rallying cry, reminding progressives that the real battle is for people's lives, not media approval.